Hi, my name is Florian. I'm from Vienna and, as I always say, born and raised in Vienna.
My name is Steffen Lose and I'm from Ulm in Germany.
My name is Tim Wiskemann. I'm originally from Mainz in Germany. I live in Vienna here now for around 6 years.
What inspired me is that it's something new that's starting up, something where you can create something, where you can have some influence on, where you can make an impact. And my role here is an account manager. So I'm in contact with customers, explaining the software to them, and of course, hopefully getting them on board with us.
I joined Tset in the pretty much very beginning. And what really convinced me or inspired me was the entire vision of the product. That's the reason I wanted to join, and maybe I give you a little bit of background here. So in my first job after university, I started as a cost engineer, and I realized that a lot of the calculations that we were doing were quite repetitive. They also needed a lot of expert knowledge, but once you gained this expert knowledge, it was often very similar calculations needed to be done again and again. And so what I started doing is I tried to start automating things in Excel with simple formulas and try to use a little bit of VBA code and so on, and that worked to some extent, but I always already felt that there's better ways of doing it. In my second job then I got to meet Sasan and Andreas. They told me about Tset, their visions back then, about the product, and I thought that's a really cool, really good fit, because a lot of the things that they are trying to do is also things I thought about before. Then I thought it makes sense to try to do this as a professional software product. That's also still my role now at Tset. I talk to our customers, I talk to clients, I talk to technology and manufacturing experts, and I also have a bit of my own knowledge. And basically what I do is I try to describe manufacturing technologies in a way that they can be implemented into our software. So how do you select a machine for a certain manufacturing technology? How do you calculate a cycle time for a certain manufacturing step? How do you select parts per cycle, and so on? All these things are part of my daily business.
My role is that I'm on front end, and also I have a UX role. So I try to keep everything together so that we have one product that is a good fit to everybody and looks nice. And how did I come to this company? I tried my own business, feels like a long time ago. And then that didn't work out quite because there was Corona. And then there was a great opportunity, and I felt here that there are the right people from the get-go. I had a very nice interview process, and we were quite a different company back then, because I think I was the 25th guy that started here. So we grow a lot since then, but that's how it goes.
Innovative. Because it's starting an old idea from scratch. So the idea of having knowledge about your cost and of course about your CO2 as well, it's not new, but the way we approach it is quite different. And also the way we make it approachable to our customers is a new way, and it opens up totally new areas for people to dig into that topic.
Effort and freedom, that just gives me the possibility to do whatever I feel is right for the product and work toward that goal. I learned a lot because the technology is moving on, and for that reason we are on a constant learning path, which is great, because there is so much out there, and I'm super interested in all the new stuff. And a lot came together for me because in my schooling I had all those technologies. So every time we introduce a new technology, it's cool, that stuff, I know that. And that brings together a lot of interesting ideas from the technical thing and then the programming aspect.
I learned a lot about software development and how complex it is to build a solution that is enterprise scalable worthy. There is a huge difference in building a solution for one company or building a solution for an entire industry or market of different companies, because for my expectation, cost engineering was done in certain ways, but it's different everywhere how cost engineering is done. That's one of the things I learned. And what is really important if you build such a product as Tset is that you have it configurable and you make it specific and tailored to your specific customer needs. That's one of the very important things that we are doing with Tset. That's something I needed to learn along the way.
There's a lot of boundaries for companies to work in a global market. And there's a lot of topics that influence them from sides of CO2 and sides of cost. This is way more related than I figured before.
I believe one of the very important things about Tset that I see with customers going live now is that it forces companies to think a lot about their data, because I believe that having high quality data and a lot of high quality data is the future in everywhere in the industry, but especially also in cost engineering. With Tset, we are trying to build a tool that enables our customers to use their data, and if they have generated cost engineering data over decades already, it's very important that you do the right things with this data and migrate the right data as well. It's important to look at quality and the right structure of the data. And here it is very important that our software provides a point where the customer really needs to think about their data quality and really work on it. That is, I think, the future. And this is something that a lot of people don't really think about in the beginning, but it gets very clear once we start working together.
This also relates a little bit to that it's opening the topic of CO2 and cost to totally new departments. It makes it easier to approach. It also makes it easy to use because of the nature of the software. And it makes it also available for companies that are not enterprise sized, but that also need cost engineering and CO2 engineering.
We are helping like the economy in a total thing, like always like getting good stuff out. The good stuff means it's produced in a good way, it's produced in a cheap way, and it's produced so that the environment in a perfect world also benefits from it, so that you can make trade-off decisions.
I think it would be Albert Einstein, because I mean I'm very interested in all the physics and all the things he discovered, and additionally he once lived in Ulm, where I live now, which makes it even more interesting.
I guess I would go with Jocko, maybe Jocko Willink. He's just a guy from leadership, and he was a Navy SEAL, and I'm kind of a fan of all those guys. And I guess that would make a few nice conversations, and he's quite a guy with a lot of presence, and that gives me some directions in where I want to go and how I want to conduct my life a bit, yeah.